Hello and welcome to Tracy Mommy Reads. I am back again with another video. Today I am going to be, let me pull it up here. I'm going to be talking about the book, The Paris Widow by Kimberly Belle, The Paris Widow. And this book I actually rented from the library, but it was a physical copy. But at the time I'm filming this video, I've already taken it back. So I had to pull up the cover here on my Kindle to show you guys what it looked like. But the book itself, okay, and this is all in the blurb. There's a woman who's in Paris. She's an American, but she's in Paris on like vacation with her husband. And there's an explosion at a cafe, and you know, after it's all said and done, like, he's essentially missing, right? Because she's refusing to believe that he died in the explosion. There were other people that did die, but she doesn't think he's dead. She just doesn't feel like he's dead. And you know, the police haven't really found any evidence that he died. They found his phone, but the reason why, as you start reading, is because it appears her husband wasn't who she thought he was. He wasn't who she thought he was. He was supposed to be, or what she thought he was like a, I'm trying to see the correct terminology for this. People who like sell and curate furniture from, you know, all over the world, you know, like things that maybe, let's say if it was a Roman church that, you know, fell apart or was torn down or something like that, and there was a door, you know, that maybe was sent to a flea market or a scrap shop. They hunt for finds like that, and they sell them, you know, to people who are looking for those type of things that have this charm and, you know, that are rustic and from other places. So that's how he makes his money, you know, by going to all these different countries and places throughout the United States, just looking for architectural finds and things that people can use as decor in their homes. And, you know, having said that, you know already that his clients are wealthy people, because the average person isn't trying to find a door from a church in Rome. Because, I mean, think about like the cost of refinishing that, maybe the cost of getting it from Rome to, like, if you live in the United States or something like that. So you got to have some money to deal with what her husband does. And the woman, her name is Stella, and her husband's name is Adam. Now, she used to be a flight attendant, and is currently, like, I think she does catering for, again, wealthy people. But the thing that's, you know, that really gets you going with this book is that in the prologue of the book, there's this woman getting off a plane, and she gets flagged at airport security, and, you know, they're going through her bag, and, you know, they find something, right? And that's kind of how the chapter ends. So just based on the description of the woman in the prologue, and then when we jump to chapter 1 and there's Stella, you quickly made the connection that it was Stella in that prologue. So the whole time that you're, like, you know, reading, not only are you also wondering, okay, where is Adam? Did he really die? What was that bombing about? And who in the hell is Stella? You know, how does their stories intersect or cross, or could they be connected? And you know, you really start to learn even more about Stella as you realize she's very crafty. She knows a lot of stuff that the average person doesn't know when it comes to, you know, law enforcement and, you know, reading people and, you know, things like that. She's really good at that. So throughout the majority of the book, that's what she's doing. She's kind of like infiltrating, you know, different scenes and scenarios and talking to people, because she wants to know, like, what this you know, what was going on with this bombing and where her husband is. Well, quickly she learns from the police there in Paris that her husband wasn't who she thought he was. You know, he was on a list, and he was somebody that they had been watching. And then there comes this whole conspiracy that perhaps the bomb was meant for him. Okay, so that's what's going to keep you turning the pages as you try to determine who are these people. Because in that first paragraph, they just appeared to be a couple who had been married. I think they've been married 4 years, and they seem to be in love, and they're just enjoying their time in Paris, and they're eating, and just so normal. But neither one of them knew a whole lot about the other when they got married. As you start to go through their backstory, because it was just kind of a meet cute situation, and they fell in love and, you know, got married without asking a whole lot of maybe pertinent questions. And on Adam's side, he was hiding the most. And, you know, I think that he probably thought that he'd be able to keep it hidden from Stella, because she didn't really seem to be interested in asking a whole lot of questions. Well, that's because she didn't want him asking questions about her past. But I love how the author gave us present day, where Stella's, you know, frantically scrambling and looking for Adam, and these people are approaching her and all this stuff. And then there were points of view from Adam in the past, like, you know, 13 days earlier, 1 month earlier, that type of thing. And we learned what he was thinking and what was going on and what led up to everything. So I love, you know, stories like that seem like they have a bit of, you know, intertwined with the suspense, which this is very, very much a suspense thriller, more thriller, because there's a lot of cat and mouse and little chases and stuff. But I also love when it seems like there's like a little bit of espionage, like there's some other stuff going on that you have to figure out. So it really kept my interest. But and there was even a time when I thought, like, you know, that maybe their Stella and Adam's meeting wasn't by happenstance. You know, when you learn that they both know someone, like a person that a normal person wouldn't know. And I know, so you know how, like, in most mystery, suspense, thriller books, there's always this, you know, element of who done it. You know, there's a murder, a kidnapping, a crime, right? And it always involves like a third party. So there's the victim, and then you're like who did it to the victim? Well, because we never really got like a body, and we never could really pinpoint if Adam was truly a victim, especially after all these things started coming up about him. It made this book a little different, because, you know, in the typical whodunit, you're like, oh, he did it, oh, she did it, because there's all these breadcrumbs and these red herrings that the author gives that makes you feel like you know what has happened. And, you know, if done properly, they give you a twist that makes you realize you didn't know what you thought you knew. And that was the thing with this book, with The Paris Widow. There was none of that, right? So you're just continuing to read because you're just like, what is going on? Just like Stella, you're looking for answers, and the only person that you can point a finger at is Adam, who is MIA, right? So that was a different aspect, I think, from some of the books that I've read in this genre as of late, right? And then, like, you get to, like, the part where you figure out what has actually happened, right? And whether or not the allegations that have been made against Adam are actually true. Okay, you get to that part, and again, still engaging. You're still like, what and why and who, and, you know, all of that stuff. But I feel like there was a scene at the end when like they're, you know, there's this person. Remember I said there was someone that they both knew, who a normal person wouldn't know, like, who's kind of like involved in organized crime and that kind of thing. I mean, you know, in movies and stuff, when you have these people that the entire time have been portrayed, and it's no different than in this book, what I'm about to say, they've been portrayed as like the boogeyman, like this person that everybody fears. They've been around for decades, terrorizing people, and everyone's afraid of them, and they're so powerful, and they're so strong, and they're capable of all this stuff. And then the, heroine or, hero or heroine or the main characters of said movie or story who are just average people who don't possess any super abilities are able to take them down so easily. There's something I have a problem with that. I want more struggle. Like, there was a show, I'm trying to think, what was the show? I cannot remember what it was. Oh my God. If I can figure it out, I'll put a little, a slide or whatever. But I really like shows where, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but the main character, the protagonist, they get their ass kicked sometimes, they don't win them all and they have to go regroup and figure out how to beat this person. And maybe they get their ass kicked again, but they just never give up until it's done. But sometimes it's kind of anticlimactic, and I don't know, it's not as satisfying if they go in there the first time and can just knock this person off the throne. Because it's like, this person has operated this way and been doing all this stuff for 30, 40, where have you been? Like, if it was just that easy, the police, other criminal organizations, nobody has been able to bring them down, but you were able to do it. Okay. And that's kind of a little bit how it was in this book. I feel like it was good entertainment, but I feel like, I don't know if I feel like the end was rushed, like that confrontation part was rushed or not. I just don't know how I feel about that. But, I will tell you without telling you much, but you may be able to glean something from this. The book itself has a happily ever after. So do with that what you will. I wasn't really expecting what happened to happen. And it's crazy because it almost feels like, when books end like that, I feel like sometimes that the author is either setting up for a sequel or something like that. I mean, and maybe they're leaving their options open, and there are also a lot of writers that I'm beginning to realize as I read their books, and I really, truly feel this way about The Paris Widow. I feel like this is a script in book form. I really feel like that this is a script in book form, and that this could totally be made into like a 90-minute, or 2-hour Netflix movie. Or if they do a series, it's something that could have a season 2. And I just wonder, given that so many more books are being turned, or being adapted for television and movies, if that is not what some authors are doing when they are writing their stories. Because a lot of it, like I said, the plausibility a lot of time goes out the window, because if you can see the action happening, you're more likely to kind of accept it, like you because you're seeing it with your eyes, as opposed to reading it. I mean, it's like, one of my favorite series is the John Wick series. I'm sorry, I didn't like the last one very much, but I mean, yeah, he's touted as this badass assassin and everything like that, but you're up against all these other highly trained assassins and people who are just like you. How are you so easily able to take them down? If I was reading a book like that, I'd be like, what? But seeing it, it looks like, oh, because he's John Wick. Like, there's not even an explanation that you need to make that happen. But, when you're reading it, sometimes it's different. But I think that, again, the way that she kind of worded some stuff and the way that it happened in the book, it would totally be plausible if I saw this on screen. But when I was reading, parts of it, I was like, I don't know if I'm buying what's going on here. But I don't know. It was very entertaining. The characters were shady as hell. It really left you wanting to know more about the story. And like I said, it had a happily ever after, which you normally don't get in the way that you got it in this book. So if all of those things sound like something you're interested in, then you would definitely enjoy The Paris Widow by Kimberly Belle. If you haven't read The Paris Widow, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And what you thought maybe about what Adam's fate, what it really happened with Adam. Let me know about that. But, you know, try to make sure you don't spoil it too much for other people in the comments. Or just don't read the comments if you don't want to be spoiled. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure that you like this video and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. You guys enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.